Yo everyone, welcome back. Today I'm taking you through a full day and showing you exactly what I eat, when I eat it, and why I eat it. Plus I'll show and explain the training I'm using to try and take my 20-minute power from 6.6 to 6.8 watts per kilo. I'll also include the ridiculously cheap way I fuel my 4-hour ride, and I'll show why I eat something that looks like a cheat day meal as recovery food. I'll put each meal's calories and macros on the screen, explain the thinking behind each choice so you can apply it to yourself, then show you the full day total near the end of the video. And if you're new here, I'm Charlie Meredith. As you may have seen from my previous video, I went from working in tech sales to racing as a pro cyclist in 15 months. So yeah, let's go. To start the day, I'm keeping my breakfast pretty simple. I've got porridge made with jumbo oats, which honestly are a game changer taste-wise over normal oats. I then add banana, blueberries, and probably a bit too much honey to top it off. I need to calm it on the honey, I can't lie, but yeah, it does taste really, really good. I've got around 3 hours before riding, so porridge works really well here. Oats are mainly complex carbs, which digest more steadily. The banana and honey add simple carbs, which digest more quickly. And the fructose also helps to restore liver glycogen after sleeping. That's basically stored carbohydrate for anyone who doesn't know what glycogen is. I also have a smoothie, coffee, and water to finish it off. So to apply it to yourselves, if you've got a few hours before riding, a larger meal with complex carbs works really well. If you're eating closer to riding, keep it smaller and use easier to digest carbs such as white bread, sugary cereal, or cereal bars. My camera accessory delivery gets delayed, so I end up leaving 4 hours after breakfast. Just so I don't leave hungry and feeling a bit flat, I have a squares bar around 20 minutes before riding. So yeah, this is really a simple example of changing the food because the timing's changed. I also have another coffee just before I leave. I typically save more caffeine for the harder sessions, and on the easier ones, I try and keep it as minimal as possible. Right, so this is what I mean when I say my sports nutrition is basic. Instead of getting expensive gels or drink mix, yeah, I just put normal table sugar straight in my bowls. Table sugar contains glucose and fructose in a very similar balance to a lot of modern sports nutrition. One of my mates suggested it, and I initially thought it sounded completely bizarre, but to be fair, it does mix really, really well, and it tastes like surprisingly good. Then again, I did just put 55 grams of honey in my breakfast, so take that however you want. For this 4-hour ride, I'm using around 350 grams of sugar, plus my other nutrition, as you can see here. And yeah, I'm aiming for just over 100 grams of carbohydrate per hour. I've trained my gut to tolerate that amount, so I don't recommend jumping straight from 60 to 100, for example, unless you want some interesting sensation, let's say. And I don't fuel every ride like this either. This is a 4-hour ride with quite a bit of work and 60 minutes of sweet spot. Obviously, if I did a 90-minute ride or like an hour recovery ride, it's gonna be completely different. So that's my on-the-bike nutrition. Now, I don't know if that much sugar in my bottle looks worse than what I eat after the ride, but I'll show and explain that when I get home. I then foam roll and stretch. My left glute creates a slight asymmetry, which means that I'm not sitting exactly square on my bike. So like my right leg is going more to the right and my left leg is also going more to the right. So yeah, this is something I've been doing and working on for around 8 months now. Doing this consistently has helped me straighten things out, and it does help me hold my position much, much more comfortably. I just come off an easy week here, so my heart rate's about 5 beats higher than usual. I thought I'd just add that in for a bit of context. The first hour and 20 minutes is high zone 2, which is still below my LT1, which is 330 watts at this time. LT1, for those that don't know, is basically the top of zone 2. I put high zone 2 first to get a clean, uninterrupted block at the response I want. After sweet spot, I'm more fatigued, and it does take a while to settle back into zone 2, so doing it first gives me a cleaner stimulus. I then went on to complete 60 minutes of sweet spot at about 90% of my 1 hour power. And to break that 60 minutes down, I do 2 20-minute efforts, and then I split the final 20 minutes to fit the terrain of the route. So that looks like this. So an 8.5-minute effort followed by an 11.5-minute effort on a climb, which then settled into a drag. I use both flat roads and climbs because I want to be good at putting power down on both. And yeah, on the flat, it's really good to be in an aero position and get used to putting the power down in that way as well. So you may be wondering why I'm doing this training, and with my goal to go from 6.6 watts per kilo for 20 minutes to 6.8 watts per kilo this year, this all comes back to my power profile. So my 5-minute power is around 8 watts per kilo at the moment, and yeah, my 5 and 10-minute efforts are already extremely strong. But for me, my weakness is actually much further down my power curve. LT1 and threshold have been my 2 biggest weaknesses, so I spent months and months using high zone 2 volume to build that base. That includes rides around 300 watts for 3 hours, then adding more sweet spot work further into the season. All the work I've just mentioned has substantially helped me aerobically, and after doing a solid 900-hour year last year, it's definitely all coming together really, really well. So for anyone wondering what they should be doing, I'd say don't train only what you're good at, of course. Obviously, it completely depends on your goal, but yeah, if you're looking to become a well-rounded rider, find where your power profile falls away, set your zones accurately, and target those weaknesses primarily. The ride ended up being 87 miles with 8,150 feet of climbing over Dartmoor and about 4,150 kilojoules of work. Don't worry, I'll put the kilometer conversion on screen as well. 4,150 kilojoules is obviously quite a lot of work. So yeah, that of course changes what I need to eat afterwards. As soon as I get home, I eat a banana, which gives me around 25 grams of quick carbs within 5 minutes and starts recovery while I shower. I then get straight on the tools and start making the pancakes. Most people will probably see pancakes with honey and golden syrup and think of a cheat meal rather than recovery food. And to be fair, it's still a treat. They taste good, and yeah, I don't make them every day. But in fairness, they do make sense at this exact time. The pancakes give me faster digesting carbs, the honey and syrup add simple carbs as well, and the eggs and milk top up protein. Within the first hour post-ride, I consume around 168 grams of carbs, 25 immediately with the banana, and another 143 through the pancakes. Recovery also depends on what comes next, so if I have, say, another hard session or race coming the next day, yeah, around 1.2 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight per hour for 4 hours is ideal to help maximize glycogen restoration. Tomorrow is only 3 hours of zone 2, so this big hit of carbs followed by enough carbohydrate later is absolutely fine. So yeah, pancakes can be good recovery food. Unfortunately, for people watching, eating them without doing the 4-hour ride doesn't create the same training adaptation, so I can't suggest the same for your recovery rides, unfortunately. For dinner, I had homemade pizza topped with organic veg with some potato wedges. The organic veg is very needed because I know this sounds like probably another different meal, let's just say. Pizza and wedges add some extra carbs for recovery and for tomorrow's ride. I then add some extra chicken just to hit the protein goal as I was slightly low. I'm also trying to lose weight, and because tomorrow is only zone 2, I don't need to force another massive meal and completely maximize glycogen. I then have ice cream because why the hell not? I also had some fruit because obviously I need to try and claw back some health gains, and yeah, I do need to hit some health goals along the way. My diet does change when I'm holding a much lower weight, so in those times and periods, I'll choose more filling, complex carb meals, for example, pasta, because that keeps me fuller while I'm still fueling training and having more consistent deficits. The principle stays the same though. I change the food choices and the volume around exactly what I'm fueling for. The total comes to 5,935 calories. The carb intake is, of course, very high and not a normal daily target, but obviously it does reflect the 4 hours I just did and the more than 4,000 kilojoules of work. On the protein side of things, most athletes need between 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. However, for high volume endurance athletes and for those in a calorie deficit, 2 to 2.5 grams per kilo can be more appropriate. So for me, my 2.48 is right at the top end of that range and should help me preserve lean muscle mass. Total protein matters most, although spreading it across 3 or 4 meals does help with absorption. My fat relative to the amount of food I've eaten is relatively low. Keeping it moderate gives me more food volume, leaves more calories for carbs, and yeah, just makes digestion easier near training. Based on months and months of tracking my intake against changes in my body weight, I estimate that I need approximately 6,637 calories to maintain my weight today. I finished the day at about 5,935, so yeah, around a 700 calorie deficit. Tomorrow is control zone 2. This is a better day for this deficit than before VO2 work, for example, or some other hard session. I don't do a deficit at all leading into my hard sessions. Over the course of a week or a few weeks, I typically aim to average about 400 calories per day deficit-wise so that I can just lose weight at a sensible pace without ruining my recovery or key sessions by being underfueled. After that, I do some rider coaching, then finish the evening watching random car stuff on YouTube because, to be fair, that's probably my biggest interest out of cycling. So, main takeaway from this video is time your food around your training, fuel the session you're actually doing rather than copying one number for every ride, and yeah, recover based on what's coming next. Overall, the fueling and recovery are really good here. I would just add a bit more veg, but I wanted to show a real day of eating, not some perfectly polished social media diet. And if you'd like to learn exactly how I structure my nutrition around training to perform and recover better, I've put a link down below. With training, don't repeat only what you're good at. Find generally what limits you and build your training around improving it. For me, as you've seen in the video, that means improving my aerobic base, LT1 and threshold power as a part of a longer attempt to reach 6.8 watts per kilo for 20 minutes. If you want to follow the journey to 6.8 watts a kilo, watch me test different ways to get faster, improve my performances, test products, and take on some huge comms, go ahead and click subscribe to this channel, like the video, and make sure when you do subscribe and you're clicking that subscribe button right now, you click the bell notification to receive updates when I post. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.